It was a rainy and tempestuous evening on the island of Sodor. Sir Topham Hatt had closed the railway early due to the weather. The wind was howling fiercely, causing damage to power lines, trees, and even buildings all over the island. The engines had to take shelter in the shed until the storm died down.
"Oh, I don't like this one bit."
"Pah, only a little engine like you would be scared of a little wind. Big engines like me hardly notice it at all."
"Little Percy's afraid of a little light breeze."
"Imagine that, being scared of a little bad weather." Just then, a loud crack blew through the sheds. The three big engines screamed.
"What was that?"
"It's just a little thunder, James. Imagine that, being scared of a little weather." Stepney and Percy laughed as the big engines huffed and looked away. "What we need," said Edward suddenly, "is a story to pass the time."
"Well, go on then."
"All right, I've got the perfect story for tonight." And all the engines listened closely as Edward began his tale. A long time ago, on this very island, there was a brave green engine who loved to be really useful. He was in charge of his own little branch line, and he spent his time shunting cars and pulling passengers up and down the line. On a night very much like the one tonight, the green engine had just finished his last passenger train of the day. The wind was howling, and he was eager to get back to the warmth of his shed. "Little green engine."
"Yes, sir?"
"I'm sorry, but we've checked the carriage shed, and one of the coaches you'll need for tomorrow morning's train was left behind on the line. Can you go back and fetch it, please?" The little green engine wasn't eager to go back into the dark and stormy night, but he agreed without a fuss. "Of course, I'll be back in 2 pulls of a whistle." The little green engine puffed quietly along the old line. The wind and rain had died down, but a thick fog had descended, making it hard to see. "I must finish my job. The railway is counting on me." But soon, even his bright lamp couldn't break through the walls of mist surrounding him. "Oh dear, maybe I should stop for a while until the fog clears." That was the little green engine's first mistake. The little green engine knew his line very well. Up ahead, he remembered that there was a siding with an old engine shed. "I can rest there while I wait for the fog to lift," he thought to himself. So the little green engine's driver got out and switched the points, and the little green engine chuffed carefully down the line. When he arrived at the shed, he felt a chill run down his boiler. The old shed looked rather spooky. "I really don't like this," he muttered to his driver. But he was very brave, you see, so he didn't budge. He was determined to be a really useful engine. Some time passed. The fog was still too thick, and the little green engine was still too nervous to continue on his journey. As the night wore on, he grew more and more tired, and soon, without realizing it, he dozed off. Another mistake.
"What is that?"
he asked his driver, but his driver was nowhere to be found.
"What's going on?" "No!"
The little green engine raced as fast as he could after the sheds. His wheels pounded the rails, and his whistle shrieked in the cold night air. The fog was still thick, and the little green engine couldn't see as he tore down the rails. He forgot to check his speed. As he approached a set of points, he suddenly felt his wheels leaving the rails.
Oh no!
And no one ever saw the little green engine ever again. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt appeared from his office. All right, everyone, looks like the worst of the weather is over. You can all return to your work. The three big engines huffed quietly out of the sheds. Well, looks like my story really spooked them, chuckled Edward, looking at Stepney and Percy. We should get back to the station too, before the storm picks back up. Come along, you two. And with that, the three engines went back to the station, but Edward's tail was still around their smoke boxes. But that's a story for another time. Soon, but not today. Come along, Harwin. We've got work to do.
Don't be afraid of the dark. It's easily explained. You see why things go bump in the night. Boo, 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 choo choo. Don't wander from your track. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be